Over the last 12 months, I've withdrawn multiple six figures in prop firm payouts. I've become permanently A-booked with a firm, which means I am live funded with them, which only 0.1% of traders ever reach that point, putting me in the top percentile of performers in prop firm trading as a whole. And the thing that surprises people most when I tell them is everyone thinks I'm just really good at predicting the market. Well, I'm actually not. I'm actually wrong constantly. But what got me here is 6 lessons, and honestly, most of them have nothing to do with the charts. It's really just the boring stuff that nobody talks about. One of them took me the longest to learn, and it also lost me the most amount of money, but I'll get to that one in the middle. But let's start with the first one, and that is the day that I realized I don't have to be right all of the time. Everyone, when they start trading, wants to become a genius trader. They want to make the most amount of money on every single trade, and they want to have as close to a 100% win rate as they possibly can. And while that's an amazing goal and an amazing thing to think about, and on a live account, that can be a good mindset, when you're trading prop firms, you have to realize that you are in different circumstances, okay? When you buy a $50,000 evaluation from a prop firm, really all you're getting is a $2,000 account. That account has a $2,000 drawdown. So instead of just focusing on winning as much as possible and maximizing for profit, what I actually needed to start doing is increasing my expectancy to pass that account. And the way that you do that is through risk management and risk per trade. If you're doing the math, you can input your win rate and your risk reward and everything. But overall, if you decrease the amount you're risking, that increases your expectancy or ability to be able to pass that account if you are trading a profitable strategy, which is green over time. Because there are winning streaks and there are losing streaks. If you catch a losing streak and you're only giving yourself 2 trades on that account, you could be a profitable trader and still just never pass an eval because you're not catching the right streaks. If you are successful with prop firm trading, everyone's going to graduate to a point where I'm at, where their expectancy for eval passing actually decreases because they are much more comfortable to put more money into evaluations and basically just get more volume of evaluations, even though the expectancy is a little bit lower. But it wasn't always like that. When I first started off, I had to decrease my risk so I could increase my expectancy. However, when I am on my actual funded accounts, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm lowering the amount I am risking to increase my expectancy of taking a payout. I'm focusing more on keeping the account alive to allow the good opportunities to actually pay me instead of just blowing the account in 1 or 2 trades. So let me show you an example of a time where I was actually wrong more than I was right, but I was still able to come out green because of how good my risk management was. So we have the new 4-hour candle that opened right here, and just above it, we have our 5-minute fair value gap. With the way I trade, I like to see a power of 3, and the manipulation puts in the top wick of the 4-hour candle. So basically all I'm looking for is price to tap into this gap and give a reaction back to the downside. Now, these are my predictive entries right here. So the second we first tap into that 5-minute gap, I get my fill there and I instantly trail my stop to the nearest low that just got put in, cutting my risk down from 50 ticks all the way to 10. Okay, and as you can see on this first tap of the gap, we do end up getting stopped out. Here we tap into the gap again. I'm at 50 ticks of risk. Once we see a reaction, I'm instantly trailing it to low, which trailed my stop to 20. And in terms of risk to reward, what I'm targeting here is going to be the bottom of this range. And as you can see, I'm wrong again. Now here, again, we sweep one more time, still remaining in the gap, and see a reaction back to the downside. And I had one more confluence within this 5-minute gap I wanted price to hit, and ES actually hit the volume imbalance right there. So this was the last one I was willing to try right here. Again, entry with my stop loss at 50 ticks, and we'll keep it there for risk to reward reasons. As you can see, this entry right here was about a 4.7 risk to reward. So for me taking this trade, I lost twice while trying this, but I came out green. And the only reason I was able to actually try 3 attempts is because I'm not risking that much per trade. When I'm on my predictive accounts, I'm really only risking anywhere from $300 to $400 per trade. And that's at 50 ticks. When I trail, it's even less. So I lost about $400 here to make $1,840. And like I said, that's only because I lowered my risk amount to increase my expectancy of taking this trade and getting a payout. The second lesson is I was not process focused. I was only money focused. This can happen a lot to so many traders where you get blinded by the money and you don't even realize you're not focusing on the process. When you're constantly thinking, how much am I up on this trade? How much am I down on this trade? Am I going to end the week green? Am I going to end the month with 5K in payouts? Am I going to end the month passing this account? You get blinded by that and realize you're not actually following the process of what your trading strategy truly is. The process is all about looking at the charts. Did I actually take the setup according to my trading strategy and not based off emotions? Is the math or risk to reward in my favor for this trade? How is this trade going to impact my pass rate or my payout rate? And also, how's the expected value going to actually treat my funded account? I'm going to walk you through an example, and this is something that I always used to do before I was taking consistent payouts or passing accounts consistently. Now, as you can see, this was actually a 30-minute PO3 trade that I did execute this morning. That's where my fill was. And as you can see, this is on a futures elite funded. This is my second day trading it. And as you can see, my worst trade was negative $500, and this trade ended up making pretty much all of that back. And now my profit is at $3,418 on this account with 2 trading days. So in this trade alone, if I was only focused about the money, there would have been a couple of times where I would have thought about exiting that trade, but in reality, I would have ruined my process, right? My process is just focused on, okay, either I get stopped out, I get break even, or I hit my take profit. Okay, those are the only things in my trading rules. I don't really care about anything else. In this scenario, when I saw this downwards candle right here, the second I saw, okay, yeah, we swept this internal high and we did start to push to the downside. Oh, I'm up like, say $400 right now. I'm going to exit the position and I'm going to take that win. When in reality, if I were to have made that decision, then I would have lost out on this $3,000 trade. Likewise here, okay? We just barely sweep this high right here and we start to see a reaction back down. I'm like, okay, I'm going to close the trade. Again, I would have missed out on my full take profit because all I'm focused about is, holy crap, I'm up $1,200. I'm not going to be able to handle if I lose out on this trade, if I get break even or if I hit stop loss. When in reality, I'm not thinking about expected value. I'm not thinking about, okay, is this trade going to exceed my losses? Okay, is this trade on average going to be larger than my losses? Does it matter with my win rate? Does it matter with my average risk to reward? That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about what dollar amount am I up or down on this trade. Likewise, another quick lesson, I can't tell you how many times I've been in a trade where I was in an active drawdown and we've even gotten 2 or 3 ticks from my stop loss and I've still won the trade. That's happened to me plenty of times on my confirmation setup. So it's all about just following the process and getting the dollar amount you're up and down out of your head completely. The third mistake that I kept making is I wasn't thinking about risk to reward correctly. I would constantly go back and forth in my head thinking, should I trade a low risk to reward or should I trade a high risk to reward? When in reality, one of those really only does work for prop firms, and you have to be very smart about this. You can think of 2 types of trading strategies. Someone who trades a 1-to-1 risk to reward who has around a 60% win rate, and another person who trades a 1-to-5 risk to reward and has around a 22% win rate. Both are profitable on a live account, but on prop firms, the high risk to reward trader is generally going to reach their drawdown because they could go and lose 8 out of 10 trades before they hit their 2 winning trades that make all their profit for the week or the month. Now, I trade 2 different types of ways. I actually trade a low risk to reward model and a high risk to reward model at the same time, where I have predictive setups that are very high risk to reward and reactive setups that are closer to base hit 1-to-1s. All I do is the same thing we talked about in lesson 1, where I am hiring my expectancy to get a payout. Okay, so for the low risk to reward trades, I'm risking a very little amount of money per attempt on those. In case I do lose 7 trades in a row, I do lose 8 trades in a row, when I finally catch those 2 to 3 home runs, they can still get me a payout because I've kept the account alive. And on my base hit setups, I know that my win rate is automatically statistically higher, so I can risk a little bit more on those trades. Now, the 4th lesson also has something to do with risk to reward, and that is I wasn't thinking correctly about how much money I was making or how much money I was actually losing. So lesson 4 is actually focusing really on evaluation spend to payout ratio. Whenever you are trading with prop firms, you are not risking a dollar amount per trade. You're actually just risking $84 at a bunch of different opportunities to potentially pass that account or get a payout. So a statistic that you need to actually start tracking is what is your pass rate and what is your payout rate. Let's say that your pass rate is somewhat lower, in the point where it takes you about $1,000 to go and pass 3 funded accounts. Are you then on those 3 funded accounts trying to exponentially stack your money to get this big $10,000 or $15,000 payout? Because odds are all of you have tried to do that, where you build yourself a really comfortable buffer and then you just end up blowing the account and you're just down $1,000 as a whole. When in reality, what you should be doing is just targeting the payout that's going to cover your evaluation spend. So if it takes you $1,000 to even pass 3 accounts, then you should be going for a $1,000 payout before trying anything heavier with your risk or with your performance. Once I started just covering my baseline with evaluation spend for the month, then I realized my entire brain and process was freed up the rest of that month because I had actually no money in. I was completely break even. So anything that I made from this point forward was all profit in my pocket. And what that actually does is it also kills your emotions when you're trading. You're very process focused. You don't care. If you win this trade, great, $700 payout to your pocket. If you lose, no sweat, you have 2 other accounts. But that is something extremely important to think about. Your evaluation spend to payout ratio, instead of just, should I take a high risk to reward or should I take a low risk to reward? You need to think about both terms of risk to reward. If you've made it this far in the video, I would hope that you finally realize that the charts and your strategy are not the most important part of prop firm trading. And that's what I do teach in my mentorship. I actually teach the risk management, not just my strategy, where I'm going in with you one-on-one, deciding exactly what prop firms that you should trade, what you should be risking per trade, what accounts you should trade at certain times, and really focusing on honing in your evaluation spend to payout ratio. I have multiple top 0.1% performing students who are also live funded like I am. I have students with multiple 6 figures in payouts, and I even have record leaderboard setting prop firm traders. It's an application, so it is small on purpose, but if you are interested, there is a link in the description of this video. The 5th mistake I always try to make is I would just copy trade instead of trying to treat prop firms like a portfolio. So a few years ago, I ended up interning at a private wealth management firm, and their book of assets was over $100 million under management. And while I was there, I didn't pick up some magical order flow insider high frequency trading strategy, but what I did do is I got to oversee the investment officer and realized how important diversification is. This is the boring fundamental stuff that nobody teaches. Prop firms are a leverage tool, and you can have multiple accounts. If you wanted to, you could even have 100 accounts, in the same way that you could even have 100 stocks in your portfolio. If you were to find a really good penny stock and you decided, look, this one looks good, would you put all of your money in your portfolio into that one penny stock? No, you wouldn't. And someone with absolutely no financial degree like I have and no background could also tell you that. Quick disclaimer, this isn't financial advice and I'm not a financial advisor. This is just the simplicity of diversification, okay? If you weren't gonna put all of your money into that penny stock, why would you put all your money, copy trade it across 20 accounts on one setup? So I put that logic into my own prop firm trading. If I had 10 accounts and I spotted a really good setup on a day, I wasn't going to copy trade them across 10 accounts, okay? And in general, in trading, you have winning streaks and you have losing streaks. So if you do happen to go on a losing streak, you could lose all 10 of your accounts, okay? That's why I have accounts assigned to trade different points in time and also trade different setups and have different trade frequencies. In my prop firm trading, I understand that I do have losing streaks, so I always have accounts parked and just ready to go whenever I do blow an account. So that way, if I do get on a losing streak with say 2 of my accounts and they end up getting blown, I know that after that losing streak, I'm likely going to go on a winning streak, okay? Trading is not just win for 30 days or lose for 30 days. My trading is very patchy, and so is most people's trading. And I realized that, wow, if I have accounts that I can trade in losing streaks and accounts that I can trade in winning streaks, it's going to be very statistically hard for me to not get a ton of payouts and be positive on my evaluation spend to payout ratio, given I actually trade my process correctly and profitably. So point being is assign different accounts, different roles. Have a high risk reward, high frequency account. Have a low risk reward, high win rate, low frequency account. I'm not telling you to do it that exact way. I'm just explaining you should have different accounts for different roles, and pretty much everyone should have accounts parked and ready to go if they do blow their accounts on a losing streak. Because what happens to most of you guys is you get stuck in the evaluation cycle where you pass an eval, you get funded, you blow the funded, and then you pass more evals, because your losing streaks are when you get funded and your winning streaks are when you're on the evaluation. Have you ever wondered why you're so good on evaluations and you just can never get payouts? That's probably one of the reasons. The sixth and final point is actually going to be psychology, and this is where a lot of you are going to click away, but let me tell you what the reality of trading psychology is. The roots of blowing accounts, revenge trading, overtrading, all that sort of stuff roots from you not being confident in your system, and it all roots from doubt. If you doubt your system, then obviously you might want to take a counter trade bias because you've been losing so much. If you've been trading for over a year and you still haven't gotten a payout, then yeah, your brain is going to automatically tell you, do something different. Make the other decisions that you're not planning into your trading plan. But in reality, all that stuff actually just ends up going away, okay? The feelings technically never really leave because we're human beings. We're always going to feel the feelings of, oh, I'm mad that I lost that trade. But once you see the actual data, the statistics, and the money hitting your bank account month over month, then you realize, if I don't just follow my process, I'm kind of a fucking idiot. Tell yourself that would be dumb of you not to follow your process. If you know you're profitable with your process, then you're not going to make those dumb decisions. Everyone's problem watching this video is you guys just don't know if your process is profitable yet. So the number one tool I use to help my psychology is actually being able to track data, and tracking all of this stuff that I mentioned. Go and take 30 to 60 days and track your eval spend to your payout ratio. Track your win rate, track your risk to reward. And don't do it for the sake of making money. Literally do it just so you see the data in front of you. If you continue to make those bad decisions and overtrade and just trade emotionally, basically gambling while you're collecting that data, your data's skewed and you're just never going to be able to prove to yourself that you're profitable. You're always going to be doubting your system. So whether you like it or not, you have to eat 30 to 60 days of collecting all of this stuff, actually following a process and rules on the chart and not just emotionally taking trades. And once you're actually able to see that your process is profitable, if you just follow it, it becomes a hell of a lot easier to follow it than just blindly trusting in some random strategy you learned on YouTube. So hopefully I've finally been able to actually show you that you don't need to fix your strategy or change your strategy or fix your win rate. You honestly probably just have to fix the way that you're trading with prop firms and the risk management that you use. And if you want me to look at your trades and all of your data instead of you having to do all of that, then the link is in the description. I keep it very small so I can actually look at your trades constantly and compare them to mine and everyone else's to cut out the bad and just replicate the good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a lot of value out of it, because I feel like 99% of the people on YouTube are only teaching one half of it, which is charts and trading strategy. I'm actually showing you the boring fundamental stuff. So all that I ask is you leave a like on this video, maybe subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.